I've got an idea for a new format that I wish, hell, I could talk somebody on FM into doing, and that would be a progressive country format. And you'd get some 23-year-olds for air personality, and you'd get a funky guy with long hair to be your music director, and you'd tell him to go country. And everybody would put on a pair of boots to start out with, even though Billy Sherrill won't wear boots. And and that you start playing the records that are coming out now, which probably the country stations are going to be reluctant to play.
You know the original long hairs they used to call, they used to laugh at the country singers because they wouldn't get haircuts.
Right.
That's right.
There's a man right here has an Bob.
I'd like to ask Waylon a question. Gram Parsons has a new album out, and right on the homo cover of it, the country music should be taken with a grain of salt, kind of, lightly. That's the way you can really enjoy it. But I wanted to ask Waylon, what do you think about this as far as an audience reaction to a country group? How seriously should they take the music?
Well, they don't take it serious, I mean, there's we do things that are novelty songs and everything. But our music as a whole, we're very serious, and it's a very serious music because whether you want to admit it or not, it is an art. Country music definitely is an art. And the only two pure art forms of this country are the blues and the country music. Now, if Gram Parsons had that, let company put that on the album, see, now you're saying this is a country album. That dude really don't know how, that's not really what you call country, if you're going to have to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, he's putting somebody on.
Or down.
The company said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if he's a man at all, first of all, I'm a man. Now, I record for RCA. That's way down the line, even though they're here. As an artist, as a recording artist, as a singer, what I do as a recording artist and things like that, if it reflects on me as a man, then they got hell on their hands, because really, I ain't going to put up with it,
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Now, he shouldn't have had let them put up with it. And as far as, that shows how much he knows about country music, and I know him very well. And I really like him. I like some of the things he does, I don't think he's that serious about it.
See, Waylon has just put into words as an artist reactions of country music radio listeners.
Now, what I said, if you...
Well, you don't have to see a cow to country music.
What I did is...
All right, Waylon.
I ain't fun the cows either.
What I said to him was about this particular album, that he's not that serious about it. And I'll tell you, listen to me just a minute. I've known him for a long time. I've heard him do my songs too. And really, I like some of the things they do. Really, I do. They knock me out. But when he lets something like that be put on an album, then that shows he's not that serious about it. Because you know what? You can't take it with a grain of salt. It's not to be taken with a grain of salt. Now, I'll tell him that, and we can, I'll guarantee you that if he stops and thinks about it, I'm saying that's him. But he did wrong, because when he cut the album, if he wasn't serious about that, and if he loves country music like you say he does, and like I know he does, he's apologizing, is what I was trying to say, for his music, and that's wrong.
That's right. But let me ask you this: Why do you now like country music? After you got beyond that point, why did you go out and get some of those Buckaroos things and so on?
Sure is a good-looking country music.
That's I think what Waylon is.
Yeah.
That's hard to say. That's true.
Why do you think I got to
Just stay standing up, darling. Just stay standing up.
Hey, move over this way. Somebody sit
Also,
down.
what are you doing right after we get through? And would
you like to be on an album?
I was first. It's my album
As long as
cover.
we're getting in line.
We're going to
That's
shoot shots
bringing
later.
sex into it.
Right.
Waylon?
That's
Waylon?
good. What?
We're going to do about a 5-minute real quickie, so answer stuff, because we're going to do a little...
Waylon's no good at 5-minute quickies, I can guarantee you.
They're going for it.
What we're going to do...
I have missed shows.
I know. So we'll do some real quick
1,000
questions
miles away.
or answers, and then we're going to run into... We have the cover right there. You want to get into that, Riveri? Don Gerson has.
It's really
a
Margaret
slick-
Truman on the front, but there's not nobody else around.
Want to stand up, Don?
Hey, is that the one that's going to be in quad?
It has class. That's a good comment.
Is that
You're
the one
right.
that's going to be in quad?
That's quality.
That's plumb serious, isn't it?
Does that look like a country album cover?
Yeah.
I want to ask a direct question.
We'll do
Yeah.
the question
We
in
have
front,
two
then we'll get to
two
yours,
people
man.
with a question, old buddy, and we'll get right to you.
Okay, I'll start over here. You were in top 40 radio.
Yes, I was top 40. Yeah.
You spoke of communication like with Eddy Arnold, like she said, and I don't want to go into repeating it, but when it first started out, I noticed that like every hour you heard a different voice. Now you can go for about 3 hours and hear the same rap over them by the same person. It's telling me as a listener that the people aren't picking up on it. With your history of being involved in both mediums of radio broadcasting, do you find that your country and Western people are more versed with the telephone calling you, being outspoken than people who were involved with like top 40 radio, rock and roll, and that sort of thing?
Well, I have to qualify, yes, they are much more involved than the top 40 audience. I think a good example is when you go to see, say you go to see a pop show, you can be guaranteed that when you go to a country music stage performance, if you're on stage, okay, looking out at that audience, you're going to go blind from the flash bulbs, okay, because they want to get right down up close and see old Waylon up there at that bandstand, wherever he's at, and he'll substantiate this. Wherever he's appearing, man, there they are. Snap, 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 pop, pop, pop. And this is because, again, of their absolute seriousness about their product and their total involvement with it, okay? When you say something on a country music radio station, you get an immediate reaction. You know, I don't care what it is. Maybe you might say, hey, I dig truck drivers. I dig these guys because they are, 9 times out of 10, they are great human beings who will stop to help somebody, all right? Now, your phones, man, so help me, are going to light up like no tomorrow because they're going to say, you better believe it, baby. And I'll give you an instance. My husband's a truck driver, and I said, I appreciate your saying that. Hey, buddy, this old truck driver out here, and I like it. You know, you're going to hear, man, zap like that. Now, if you're driving cross country in top 40, okay, and you're going across the United States, you better believe that every truck driver, man, so help me, every one of those guys who digs country music, he knows when he goes out of one station's pattern right where to go on that dial to pick up the next one, okay? You're not going to get that in 40. If you really stop and think, ask your younger sisters or your brothers and say, hey, can you name me 3 disc jockeys, 3 of the disc jockeys on the station you listen to? And I'll give you odds they can't, because they're involved with a beat and not with the person and the music. This is fact. Dick Biondi in Chicago was like God at night on WLS. 50,000 watt clear channel. It hits all 50 states. Not 39, but 50. Okay? And this guy was like God. 2 weeks after he left, they could have cared less, man, because the music was there and the individual had not made his indentation. He had not communicated enough to that audience for them to say, God, I really miss him. And they flood the station with calls and all this jazz. Because the main thing that they were there for was there. And when a Bill Drake sits down in a radio station and says, let's cut out anything but time and temperature and get more music on. Let's do a 6-record sweep. Let's do a 7-record sweep. He knows where it's at for his audience. And that's his job. And that's what we try to do in knowing that audience and what they're going to react to.
Waylon?
You can get his question answered.
Sure.
Did you? You used Eddy Arnold as an example a while ago, you know?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I mean, that's kind of a bad example, you know? Because,
Well, that may be to you, Waylon.
no, really, when you put him with an orchestra, if he's a pop singer, I'm a Mongolian aviator. He can't sing pop music. That's really, and you know why they wanted to hear him sing with the guitar, just sit down with it? Because those are the songs that he sang, you know,
That's right.
best in the early days.
That's right.
About every 10 years, he tried to go pop, and didn't cut it.
Yes, he did make a
Yeah,
statement
and
about it.
really, I mean, he is not, Eddy Arnold
Well, I
is one of
wasn't
the
giving-
great singers of our time. I mean,
Well,
you know,
all
that's
right,
truth
but I
about
wasn't
it.
giving...
But he sang great what he did in the early days.
Right, because it was genuine.
And Ray Price is another example. You know, they used to want to run him out before he
Right.
did For the Good Times. All right? And they didn't mind the orchestra For the Good Times. And you know why? Because if you stop and think about it, Ray Price was a great country singer.
That's right.
All right, he got the orchestra and he tried to be a pop singer.
I'll be here.
And then when he finally made his circle, though, and he came back and sang a song like Ray Price sang it with the old Western swing band,
Cherokee Cowboys.
the Cherokee Cowboys, when he sang it like that, even though the orchestra was behind him, and he was real, and they don't mind the orchestra.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you, Waylon, and I wasn't presenting a view from Eddie Arnold's view, but rather than say from the audience saying, get back to what you were, man. Don't give me this other jazz. Let me hear what made you famous. Okay, and this is what I try to relate to you as a country listening audience to a radio station says the same thing to us when we broadcast something. Hey, I don't want to hear that kind of thing.
But he didn't. But they don't mind that. They don't mind that Ray Price has the orchestra as long as he sings like the old Ray Price. So it's not the musical instruments, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Question in front.
Yes,
What
sir.
was I mad about? I
I don't know.
Oh,
How do you mean that?
There's an artist.
Yeah, well, let him answer that.
Oh, Waylon is the artist.
Yeah, that's right. I said
Waylon?
answer.
You got to live with it. You got to live with everything you do, man, good or bad. And I've had no. Ooh. I don't think so.
You're going to play in a little bit, aren't you? Well, you'll hear something that's pretty different in a little bit.
What do you mean by that?
We know you guys have been up all night.
Oh. Yeah, but you don't know what we've been doing all.
Yes, I do.
Oh yeah, I do.
Got to have inspiration, also.
Are you saying like if he added, say, for example, musically a sitar or something? Is that what you're saying in essence, or are you changing the style of music or the musical content, the lyrics, or what he's referring to?
I'll do it. Right or wrong, or good or bad, I'll give it a whirl because I do have some ideas that I want to do, and I think I would probably be the one to do it, but somebody. In the beginning, they called what I did folk country, and then they called it folk rock country, and then rock
Nashville
country, and
sound.
they call it contemporary. I don't know what they're going to call it next, but I just I do when I'm in there. I just try to cut good records, and as of my last album, I produce myself mostly. I don't intend to. I can't change that much because I'm me, you know, and I don't even like the idea of doing songs that I can't relate to because I won't do it because I walk through them. And anytime like to sing a song you don't know what you're singing about, singing words. It takes a lot of it out of it. But my thing in the business that I'm in, above all, really, the greatest thrill and where it all happens for me is in the recording studio. You know, that's where it all comes together, and to feel it, and to feel it and watch it build and watch it come together is that's more important than the money. But none of you people from RCA take that too seriously. We're working cheap
But
enough.
by the same token, you're realistic enough to realize that because you just made that statement that you can't just do everything that you want to do. You have to do a few things that,
Someday,
because you have responsibilities to other people beside yourself.
now I'll tell you what, my first responsibility is to myself.
Mm-hmm. You know? But then you have responsibilities to other people for the label. And
Right. Now, here's the thing. But what I do, I sing a lot of different type of songs, right? I don't like to be locked in on anything.
Right.
Because I don't think that our music has to be locked in or should be locked in any way. I'll tell you what, if the rock and roll and the pop and all those people can use our arrangement, our instruments, you know, they can go back to the guitar and the acoustical, if I can say it, acoustical
Flat top.
guitar. Flat top, yeah.
All right.
And why can't we use their instruments if it complements our song? If it complements a song or a singer, I think we have just as much right to use it as anybody. And I don't think if it was the instrument that made a country record, then Dean Martin would be the biggest country singer in the world.
Exactly.
Because he sang so many country songs. And you don't refer to him as a country singer. Drake's good, don't he?
Waylon,
We just played New York City. I did with a band about, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And we hold the record of people, you know, in the business, and it was packed every night. And they all dug country music. And we played at the Armadillo Club, which is, it was all long-haired people. And they really got off on the music. In fact, we got like, I don't know how many encores, and they were going for 20 minutes before they got them out of there. They were still, we couldn't go back, but they were still hollering and screaming. That's your audience too, That's ours. They like country music, and the main trouble has been this here, is a lot of the underground people, don't think that they dig it that much. I'm afraid they don't dig it. I don't know, what to do, to keep everybody happy. I just have to do my thing as best as I can, Like Bobby Stevens and the Checkmates. I don't know if you've heard of them or not. Bobby's one of my best friends. In fact, we got a publishing thing together. He's a great entertainer and a great pop singer and a great country songwriter. He's a hillbilly and way back yonder. I don't think it's that far apart because you know what? The rhythm and blues and country music is just about a beat apart because it's about the same thing. It's about people and their problems and the good and bad, and living, through the hard times. A man losing his woman and keeping his woman and getting his woman. That's about it. Right?
Right. We're just about going to wind down. Before we do that, does the individual members of this panel discussion like to say anything that you haven't said already?
I would like to say probably what I have been saying all along, and that is the fact that I'm very gratified to have been here this morning because of this very reason. It's been very stimulating for me, and it's the thing that I thrive on is listening to all different segments, if we have to, of different audiences, and I'm extremely interested in, interested in selling you country music, and by the same token, I'm interested in you selling country music yourselves and your music, and I don't think they're that far apart, quite frankly.
And we'd all be terribly remiss if we did not say thank you very much to RCA for providing us with this platform to speak from.
Thank you all very, very much.